But they're afraid. The problem is most docs just simply go, I've never done that, so I'm not going to do it now. And you go, well, what's wrong with it? I don't know, but I'm not going to do that. You know, and that's where you end up. And so I don't expect to find much cooperation, and especially now that they're all working for the big green machine. It was one thing when we were all in private practice, but I think I'm the last private physician in Northwestern Ohio. I think they've all joined the machine someplace now. You have to survive. Most people don't have the latitude to do what I did and go to cash. You know, it really takes a big adjustment, and they're afraid. They were afraid to make the jump.
As a responsible person with growing concerns for your privacy and personal liberty, you want to know where we're headed and what you can do about it. We ask the experts what you need to do to take prudent and responsible action to safeguard your family's wealth and well-being, and what basic first steps will help you to be aware and prepared. ReluctantPreppers.com.
Which types of medication are the most essential in a low technology, low infrastructure type environment?
You know, if you take this product right here, clindamycin, and buy one of those for 39 cents and drop a 300 milligram capsule of clindamycin into it, you have enough topical antibiotic to treat 10 people for a month. And you got nothing in it except for a $1 capsule. Now you go buy the same product and it's $65, right? So there's a lot of workarounds. There's a lot of things that we could do. I make another topical ointment. Wound management is always a big issue when you're on your own. You don't want to let a wound get out of hand.
Right.
And chloramphenicol, the old antibiotic that they took off the market because it hits anthrax. And when they realized it killed anthrax back in the 60s, the feds took it off the market and declared it too dangerous to use. And they've got a stockpile of no civil defense shelters. They know it's their go-to resistant drug. They've driven the price way up expensive. I make 3-pound tubs of it to take into Haiti, and then I'll just put enough to put in a medicine bottle to give somebody for wound management. It works like a charm. A lot of this stuff, we could put a package together. And then you have to individualize because, what if you're hypothyroid? What's your management of that? Mm-hmm. Well, the answer is, that while 5 years of thyroid from the pharmacy costs $100 a month, $66,000, the same amount of thyroid bought in bulk is $217 instead of $6,000. So you spend $217 and now you own 5 years of thyroid, and if you're hypothyroid, you're not going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the question is at what level do people want to play?
Right.
And that's why I kind of like the idea of let's develop, a home safety basic supply set, and then here is stuff that you're going to have to either get your family doctor to cooperate with you. If that works, good luck. I'm not expecting that. Okay,
that would be the exception. It would be doctors like yourself who, in most ways, have been in the system and then decided that there's a need to address wellness as the primary goal, not just feeding the system for the sake of the system.
Right. Well, they're afraid. The problem is most docs just simply go, I've never done that, so I'm not going to do it now. And you go, well, what's wrong with it? I don't know, but I'm not going to do that. Mm-hmm. And that's where you end up. And so I don't expect to find much cooperation, and especially now that they're all working for the big green machine.
Sure.
It was one thing when we were all in private practice, but I think I'm the last private physician in Northwestern Ohio. I think they've all joined the machine someplace now. You have to survive. Most people don't have the latitude to do what I did and go to cash. It really takes a big adjustment, and they're afraid. They were afraid to make the jump. So, and then you'd have that third level of care where you go, oh, you really are serious. You really do want to be prepared. Okay, and at that point in time, I go, well, that's when you're going to really want 140 suture, lidocaine, syringes. You got to be able to close a wound.
Mm-hmm.
Etc. And that's all legal. There's really no limit. Most people have a family member who died or was injured and then became well and left 20 Vicodin in the bottle. Don't throw those away. Repurpose those. Because those are very hard to come up with. you know, and you really need some kind of pain relief. You've got, all pain syndromes go through a front end 48 hours that can be pretty brutal, and then things settle down. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier colloidal silver. You said that could be a topic unto itself. You want to take a minute or two to tell us about that?
I love it. It's been touted in the industry as a cure-all. It is not. It tends to not kill as much as it stops replication. I used it in Lyme disease for about 2 years and was real tickled with myself that everybody was better. And then a guy came along and pointed out to me, have you tried stopping it? One day after I stopped it, the patient looked just like the day I started it. And I realized I was treading water and I quit using it. If that's Lyme disease, nothing kills Lyme disease, okay? But if I've got Ebola, I'll be glad to stop it in its tracks, okay? We have, there are a lot of things that come along that we don't even know what they are. Well, the nice thing about colloidal silver is it's non-toxic in the right form. We'll talk about the right form in humans, but all of the microbes have a ribosome 70 mitochondrial structure that silver clutches up, and humans don't own that system. So it's not toxic. Now, there are two kinds of silver, and you can tell which one simply by pouring it out in a clear cup, okay? The colloidal silver that is perfectly clear and looks like water was made by putting silver in water and putting a current through it. And you end up with silver chloride, which is absorbed into the body as a salt. The silver goes deep into your tissue, and it causes the diseases we know about where people turn blue, then black with argilism. It is very, very toxic. It will never come out of your body. It's a terrible idea. Don't ever ingest it, okay? But companies like puristcolloids.com and the better manufacturers, they put a laser underwater against a silver ingot and knock individual atoms of silver off into water as a suspension. This will look a brown black, and if you were looking through 2 inches of it, you wouldn't be able to read newsprint beyond it. It's about that dark. That's true quality colloidal silver. Those atoms of silver go into your body and are excreted unchanged in your urine and your stool, and they don't accumulate. Okay, and the amount you're getting is really, really trivial, but it's exactly that form of silver that screws up the ribosome 70 system. And you can buy this stuff in pints, quarts, gallons, and 5-gallon carboys. Every time that you go up in size, your price drops by about 30%. And so people would be smart to get together in groups and buy a 5-gallon carboy and split it up and put it in containers and save a bunch of money. But if there's a big bad virus running around, at the time I'm exposed, I'm going to get everybody in my community taking it every day and, ingesting, 20, 30 cc's a day while the risk goes past.
And again, the mechanism that you're looking for there is that it interferes with the reproduction, the duplication.
It interferes with the duplication
of
both
microbes,
viruses and bacteria, and parasites, and spirochetes, and fungi. I mean, this is a very broad spectrum. It's also, if you get a burn and you go to the emergency room, what do they send you home with? Silvadine. And what does it do? When you put it on your skin, it turns black because it turns into silver chloride. Okay, and of course, silver is what makes X-ray film and photographic film. Okay, when it goes to its salt form, it turns black, right? And so, this liquid, you could just rub it on a wound, and it's going to work as an anti-infective, and it's not harmful to tissue. It's a nice product. Everybody should own it in survival mode.
Long shelf life?
Forever, a million years. I don't know how it could go bad. What can spoil in it? It can't get infected. It's just water and a metal. Nothing's going to grow in it. Whatever container it's in determines its shelf life. When the container rots, it's gone.
Back to your original topic where you're talking about a home emergency medical supply. Some of these things people can put together that are available over the counter. For others, they would need to partner with, if they can find a family physician who will partner with them to help them obtain what they would need. And there's ways you've talked about stretching small amounts to go farther and that sort of thing by and storing.
Well, I think the first thing is you have to ask the question, what meds am I on that I can't live without?
Actually, that's what I was going to ask. Is what about people who have special needs or special conditions?
If you're menopausal and you knew that menopause was tough and that you were hot flashing or had osteoporosis or got memory disturbance when you lost your estrogen, sure, I want you on custom compounded trias, progesterone, DHEA, but that day won't be happening. That stuff has 60-day shelf life. So when people come to me and say I need my survival form, I go, let's go buy you a bottle of 1,000 2-milligram estrase, okay? Pure estradiol, and a quarter of a tablet once a day is going to keep you out of trouble. So now that's 4,000 doses. So I just got 10 years of estrogen. You can probably buy that bottle of 1,000 estrogen in bulk for $30. Gee. Okay, so now you come in and say, my blood pressure's been 220 over 120 in my life, and it's controlled a day on these 2 meds. I go, I think we need to get you a 5-year supply of that med. Okay, so first of all, our question is, what must you have, especially people who are hypothyroid? Now, insulin-dependent diabetics, they're in trouble. Okay, they're in big trouble. But everybody else, we can figure out how to store this stuff. We can figure out how to get it. So, the first thing is, can you go to your family doctor and sit down and say, I'm concerned. You saw the water problem that happened. You watched society come to a stop for 2 days. I've seen Ferguson. I'm just concerned. Would you write me a prescription? And then if you go to your family pharmacist, you can't walk into Rexall and do this, okay? You need to have a relationship with the family pharmacist. And if you go in and say, look, I'm concerned about survival and my family doctor wrote me a prescription for this, can you order it for me? Then the question is will he do that?
Mm-hmm. And then there's the storing of it, because you mentioned there's some things that really are more sensitive to...
Really just the doxycycline, minocycline. The rest of them I just go, get a little, 6-pack beer cooler and, put everything you want to store in it and run duct tape around the edge of the seam and set that thing on a back shelf high in your basement. Or an interior closet if you're, on a crawl. And set it on the floor in an interior closet where temperatures don't fluctuate. And there you go. That's what you got. You got what you got. It is what it is. One of my favorite sayings in Haiti. People say, we don't have this. And I go, no, you don't. Now what's plan B?
Right.
It is what it is.